Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. These words by Carl Jung capture the essence of self-discovery, personal growth, and the ultimate act of choosing oneself. But what does it really mean to embark on this journey inward? And how can Jung's insights help us navigate the complexities of our own minds? In today's video, we'll explore Carl Jung's ideas on individuation, shadow work, and how choosing oneself is the most profound decision one can make. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So Carl Jung. Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? As if the choices you make are not entirely your own, but rather the result of expectations placed upon you? If so, you're not alone. Many people go through life following a path dictated by society, parents, or cultural norms, never truly questioning who they are beneath it all. Carl Jung called this journey of uncovering our authentic self individuation. It is the process of integrating all aspects of our being, our conscious identity, our hidden unconscious, and the deeper forces shaping our decisions. But what does this journey actually look like? And how do we embark on it? From the moment we are born, we begin learning who we are supposed to be. Parents tell us how to behave, teachers reward us for compliance, and social groups define what is acceptable. We put on masks to fit in, shaping ourselves to meet expectations. The persona, as Jung called it, is the identity we present to the world. It helps us navigate social life, but when we become too identified with it, we risk losing our true self. Have you ever felt exhausted trying to maintain an image? Maybe you suppress parts of yourself that feel unacceptable or weird just to fit in. This is the cost of living only through the persona. At some point, we begin to hear a quiet voice inside, one that whispers, "Is this really who I am?" This moment of questioning is the start of individuation. It is the realization that beyond our social identity, beyond our roles, there is something deeper, a self that is waiting to be fully realized. But this journey is not easy. Individuation requires courage, the courage to face what has been hidden, to break away from conditioned beliefs, and to embrace the unknown. Jung believed that much of our true self is buried in the unconscious, the vast hidden realm of the mind where forgotten dreams, suppressed emotions, and unknown desires reside. Individuation is about bringing the unconscious into consciousness. This means becoming aware of our deeper motivations, fears, and hidden strengths. But why does the unconscious remain hidden? Because confronting it can be unsettling. We may discover that the life we've been living is not truly our own, that we've been shaped more by outside influences than by our inner truth. One of the biggest obstacles to individuation is external validation. We crave approval from parents, friends, social media, and society at large. But the need for validation keeps us trapped in an inauthentic life. Jung reminds us that true growth happens when we shift our focus inward, when we ask ourselves, what do I truly want? What beliefs have I inherited, and which ones actually resonate with me? Am I living for myself or for others' expectations? Individuation is the process of breaking free from these external influences and aligning with our own truth. Transformation is not comfortable. When we begin the journey of individuation, we may feel lost, lonely, or even afraid. Old friendships may fade as we no longer resonate with certain people. Career choices may suddenly feel unfulfilling. Even our own identity may feel uncertain for a while. But this discomfort is part of the process. It means you are shedding what is no longer you and stepping into a more authentic version of yourself. Individuation is not about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you were meant to be all along. It is about accepting all parts of yourself, the strengths, the weaknesses, the light and the shadow. It is about integrating everything into a unified, whole self. Jung reminds us you are not meant to be perfect. You are meant to be whole. Individuation is a lifelong journey. It requires reflection, patience, and the willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. But the reward? A life of authenticity, depth, and true fulfillment. So I leave you with this question. Are you ready to embark on the journey of becoming who you truly are? There is a part of you that you don't want to see, a side that you suppress, deny, or even fear. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the hidden aspects of your personality that exist in your unconscious mind. But here's the truth. Ignoring your shadow doesn't make it disappear. It makes it stronger. It influences your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways you may not even realize. The shadow is formed in childhood. When we were young, we were taught what was acceptable and what wasn't. If you were told not to cry, you may have suppressed your sensitivity. If you were discouraged from speaking up, you may have buried your confidence. Over time, these rejected parts of you didn't vanish. They sank into your unconscious, and now they reveal themselves in subtle ways. The anger that erupts when someone challenges you, the jealousy you feel but never admit, the self-sabotage that stops you from growing. Most people avoid their shadow because it's uncomfortable, but what we resist persists. The more you suppress it, the more control it has over you. Jung believed that true personal growth comes not from eliminating the shadow, but integrating it. This means acknowledging your flaws, understanding your hidden desires, and accepting the parts of yourself that you once rejected. When you do this, something profound happens. You stop being controlled by your unconscious fears. You gain emotional freedom. You become more authentic, more whole. So, how do you face your shadow? Here are 3 powerful steps to start your journey. 1. Observe your triggers. Your shadow often reveals itself in emotional reactions. When something deeply upsets you, ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? 2. Journal your darkest thoughts. Write without judgment. What thoughts do you suppress? What emotions do you fear expressing? Shadow work requires honesty even when it's uncomfortable. 3. Embrace, don't fight her. Instead of rejecting your shadow, talk to it. Accept that it's part of you. If you struggle with anger, instead of denying it, ask, what is this anger trying to teach me? Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's the part of you that longs to be seen, understood, and accepted. The more you integrate it, the more whole you become. So, are you ready to face your shadow? Many of us live our lives trying to meet expectations of our families, society, or even our past selves. We seek approval, fearing that without it, we might not be enough. But Carl Jung teaches us something different. True freedom begins when we stop living for others and start choosing ourselves. Choosing yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-alignment. It means recognizing your own worth, regardless of external validation. It means making decisions based on your truth rather than fear of rejection. But why is choosing oneself so difficult? Because it often means breaking away from old patterns. It means saying no when you're used to saying yes. It means risking loneliness for authenticity. It means acknowledging that not everyone will understand your journey and being okay with that. Jung reminds us that the psyche seeks wholeness, not approval. The more you suppress your true desires, the more fragmented you become. The more you align with your inner self, the more alive you feel. Choosing yourself might mean leaving behind relationships that no longer serve you. It might mean pursuing a passion others don't understand. It might mean embracing solitude to find your own voice. But here's the paradox. The moment you truly choose yourself, you stop feeling alone. Because the deeper you go within, the more you realize you were never incomplete. You were just conditioned to believe you were. This is what Jung meant when he said, I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. The expectations placed upon you do not define you. Only you do. So, how do you begin choosing yourself? Start by listening. Listen to the quiet voice inside you, the one drowned out by noise, obligation, and fear. What does it want? Where does it feel pulled? What brings it peace? Then take small steps. Set boundaries even when it's uncomfortable. Pursue what excites you, even when it's uncertain. Trust yourself, even when others don't understand. Because at the end of the day, no one else can walk your path for you. No one else will live with your regrets or your fulfillment. That is yours alone. Choosing yourself is not a one-time act. It's a daily commitment. It's a journey, not a destination. And the most beautiful part? The more you choose yourself, the more the world aligns with you, rather than the other way around. Take a deep breath. In and out. Now ask yourself, who am I really? Not the version of you shaped by expectations, Not the version that pleases others, not the version hiding behind achievements, titles, or roles, but the real you, the unfiltered, unmasked self beneath all the layers. This is the essence of self-discovery, and this is the path Carl Jung invites us to walk. Jung reminds us that self-discovery is not a destination. It is an unfolding and ever-evolving process. Just when we think we have figured ourselves out, life presents new challenges, new perspectives, and new layers of depth to explore. We often think we must find ourselves, but what if the real goal is to create ourselves, to actively shape and integrate the parts of us that we once ignored? Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole by embracing every part of our psyche. But this requires courage, the courage to see ourselves fully, the courage to confront our fears, wounds, and suppressed emotions, the courage to let go of the familiar and step into the unknown. To truly know ourselves, we must meet the parts we've been running from, our shadow. The shadow is everything we deny, repress, or fear about ourselves. It is the anger we suppress, the insecurities we avoid, the desires we deem unacceptable. And yet what we reject within us doesn't disappear. It controls us from the dark, influencing our thoughts, reactions, and relationships. Jung teaches us that true personal growth happens when we stop fighting our shadow and instead integrate it. Think about it. What part of yourself have you been avoiding? Maybe it's a childhood wound, a past failure, a part of your personality you feel ashamed of. What if, instead of hiding it, you faced it with compassion? Every day we are faced with a choice, to live according to the expectations of others or to live in alignment with our true selves. Jung believed that many people live as mere fragments of who they are, playing roles dictated by society, family, or past conditioning. We become trapped in personas, wearing masks that keep us safe but ultimately distance us from ourselves. But there comes a moment, a defining moment, when we must make a choice. Do we continue seeking external validation, or do we choose ourselves? Choosing yourself means honoring your truth, even when it's inconvenient. It means following your inner calling, even when it goes against the grain. It means standing firm in your authenticity, even when it makes others uncomfortable. It's not about selfishness, it's about self-alignment. The moment you choose yourself, you break free. Free from old narratives that told you who you should be. Free from the fear of judgment. Free from the illusion that you must fit into someone else's mold. Jung believed that true liberation comes when we stop seeking completion outside of ourselves. The answers we chase, the fulfillment, the peace, the purpose are not out there. They have always been within. But will you dare to listen? This is your invitation, an invitation to explore the depths of who you are, an invitation to make peace with your past and embrace your full self, an invitation to walk the path of individuation, shadow work, and ultimate self-acceptance. The journey is not easy. It requires patience, courage, and an unwavering commitment to truth. But if you accept it, you will find something far greater than external success or fleeting happiness. You will find yourself. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you're on a journey of self-discovery, subscribe for more insights into psychology, philosophy, and personal growth. Until next time, remember, your greatest adventure begins within.